Hey, DBE crew, super excited for this episode. We are diving in with a solo episode all about the truth behind building a multiple seven-figure brand and business. And the exact thing that I did, there really was one thing, I did a lot of things, but the one thing that I did in order to scale my business, scale my income, and scale my impact, which I know is exactly what you want to do. If it wasn't, I'm not sure you'd be listening to this podcast. So believe it or not, I did this one thing back in 2017, and that's when I went from sort of cute side hustle, to multiple seven-figure business owner, which is pretty cool, and I'm really proud of it. You ready for it? Should I do a drum roll? Here's the deal. I went from one-on-one to one-to-many. So what does that mean? I went from whether it was training one-on-one clients in person or working with one-on-one clients online, sending emails to them, doing Zoom calls with them, doing check-ins with them through a Google Drive or a Dropbox, to instead shifting my entire focus to one signature product or one signature offer where I was able to serve one-to-many. So one-to-many is this idea that it is group coaching or a course. And so in my same amount of time, in 1 hour's time, I'm able to then communicate and work with many people. Think of it like a teacher in a classroom. So there's one-on-one tutoring where I'm with a student for 1 hour myself. And then there's a classroom setting where I'm with maybe 25 students for the same hour. So conceptually, if you break this down, it's very simple. Obviously, we can make more money because you're serving more people. And by you serving more people, you can make more impact. So it's not rocket science. Now, did that mean that I did away with all of my one-on-one clients? No, absolutely not. Does it mean that the clients now don't get the same result or experience or intimate connection? I deeply believe, no, absolutely not. And that's what I want to talk about today. So there is a misconception. There's a pushback, a resistance from a lot of people who do one-on-one coaching, especially something like, registered dietitians who are working with meal plans or gut health or testing, personal trainers who are customizing things, even home decor, right? Interior design, like you're customizing your client's home and what they want in your home. So I understand the resistance that you might have from going from one-to-one to one-to-many. It feels like you're going to drop the ball. They're not going to get as great of results. Maybe there's another story that you have, and I've had all of them as well. So I want to talk about this today. Here's the thing. I deeply, deeply believe, not just from my own work and business and results, but the thousands of clients that I've worked with, I believe that it's more powerful oftentimes for your clients to be in a group setting. Hear me out. When they're in a group setting, we're societal beings. We're like tribal beings. We like to be with other people. We are the type of species that needs other people around, survival of the fittest. We don't do well totally by ourselves. Now, I love my time alone. Don't get me wrong. I've got that introverted side of me. That's how I refuel. I'm an extrovert, but I refuel introverted, right? I think a lot of us do. So I love my time alone. However, when we're looking to hunt down an animal or keep us safe at night or weather the storm, we do better when we're in groups. And so we look for other people. We're looking for those people to help keep us protected, to help keep us safe, to talk through what's going on in our head, to create an army, to attack a challenge together, to support each other, to hold each other accountable. So when you put clients into a group setting, naturally and organically, that is going to happen without you even doing anything or telling them to do this. So what do I mean here? A lot of times when you put clients into a group setting, you don't have to do as much work on the side of keeping them accountable, holding them accountable, supporting them in their journey. They're naturally going to gravitate towards one another. Another thing that happens is a lot of times when we're going through a transformation, whether it's mindset, business, new venture, weight loss, fertility, like attracts like. And a lot of times when we're going through a change, Dr. Joe Dispenza calls it the river of change. When we're crossing the river of change, sometimes we're leaving people, stories, habits, beliefs, hobbies, etc. in the past. So on one edge of the riverbank where you once were, you're now going to brave crossing the river of change to get to the other side. And a lot of times the people that are with you, the stories, the places, the environments that are with you once when you started, you will have to let go of those in order to get to the other side of the river. It's just far too heavy to carry, right? And so as you do that, what you may have experienced already, which I know I have many times, is people, places, and things from your past life, your old identity. Maybe they don't fully support you. Maybe they do support you, but they don't fully understand what you're doing. They can't really have expansive conversations with you because they're not in it. They're not going down that path. This has happened to me so many times. It's basically every time that I'm evolving and leveling up to a new version of myself, there are parts of myself and my life that I leave behind. And it's not about cutting people out, and we can have a whole other conversation on that. It's not about, ditching your old friends and family. But I know that you probably have felt this before, where you think, people in my old life, they just don't get it. They don't get me. They don't get what I'm doing. And if we're chatting business, let's just use some business terminology. My childhood best friend is the best. Like literally, she's the best friend in I have the best friend in the whole wide world. Don't even argue with me. However, she doesn't want to talk about landing pages. She's not an entrepreneur. She's not a digital coach. She has a very normal 9-to-5 job, as we call it, right? And so we can talk about so many things, and she loves and supports me in what I'm doing. And she conceptually understands what a landing page is. And over the years, maybe she's asked me to tell me a little bit more about it, but she's not the person that I'm going to call to start talking about my EPL and my CPL and my LTV. And if you don't know those acronyms, let me know in the show notes because I'll do a whole episode on acronyms. That'd be a fun episode, right? But she's not the person I'm going to call to talk about those things. It's not that I can't, but it's just not our connection point. So when you are going through some sort of a transformation to cross the river of change, you're probably going to go through something similar, no matter what that river of change is, no matter what that transformation A to Z is. So when you put your clients into a group setting, you've now just handed them a present. You literally have gifted them an opportunity to connect with the people who get it, who are going through it, who are having the similar challenges and struggles and who have similar goals and objectives and who want to talk about the same things. And, it's funny, over the years, I've been doing masterminds and courses and coaching since 2014. I've been investing in coaches since 2014. And at first I got some pushback from some people in my life. They didn't mean to be nasty, but they made comments like, oh, you pay for your friends. And yeah, I do. I absolutely pay for my friends because I believe that your network is not just your net worth, but your network is, it's like the rocket fuel to get you to the next level. It's everything. Networking is everything. Learning from people who are ahead of you, who've done it already. It's so expansive to be in a room where you feel like you're the smallest fish. There's something so powerful about that. And so I offer you this reframe. A lot of times that whole idea and concept of like you pay for your friends for some reason is super taboo. But how about this? When you were a child, there's a good chance that your parents or your caretaker put you into some sort of a sport or an activity, art class, theater camp, something like that. And they paid for it. And they paid for it to put you in the class or the room or the sport or the hobby so that you could be connected to like-minded friends, kids who are interested in the same thing. And then you go into middle school and high school and college, and whether your parents are paying for it or not, we join clubs. There's intramurals, there's competitive sports, there's, theater and band and all of this. And it's again, so you can get into a room with like-minded people. We then graduate all of that stuff and we go into the adult world, and we're not given those opportunities the same way that we were when we were children. We also typically don't have an advocate like a caretaker who is sort of lovingly encouraging and pushing us to go sign up for said class. And they're probably not paying for us to go take said course. And so as an adult, the way that I see courses and coaching and masterminds, I now am the advocate for myself. I am acting as my parent for myself. And I am putting myself in rooms that I am charging, or I'm getting charged and I'm paying to be in those rooms just as my parents did when I was a kid and they put me in gymnastics or art class or dance class. And so now I've taken the control. I've got the reins and I'm choosing different classes and courses and rooms that I want to be in. So what's the big deal? Yeah, I pay for my friends. I believe in relationship capital. So there's so much power in building relationships and meeting new people and seeing new perspectives and traveling the country, the world, right? Okay, so I digress. I pay to be in these rooms. When you have one-to-many, you're giving people an opportunity to be in these rooms, to be expanded and supported. They're going to find lifelong friends and accountability partners, and it will remove some of the workload and pressure that you feel when you have one-on-one clients. The other thing that happens, people think that there's going to be a lack of results, but again, we're social beings. So the snowball happens when someone has results. We naturally go for, wow, that's possible. We see evidence that it's possible. And so when someone in your program or your group or your course, they have a result, they have a win, not only is it cause for everybody to celebrate and elevate the frequency of the room and elevate the frequency of the energy in the room and elevate the motivation and momentum of the work that they're doing, but it also becomes evidence for people who are unsure if it's possible, for the people who are a little bit skeptical, for the people who are in a dip, right? Because going through a journey is not linear. Any transformation, it's not linear. It's like a roller coaster. And so there are going to be times in that journey, weight loss, business building, where you're in a lull, you're in a dip, you're at the bottom of the roller coaster. And the feelings of, oh my gosh, I have to get back up that roller coaster hill, it's exhausting. That's where motivation drains. This is why motivation is not a strategy. Waiting to feel motivated is not a strategy. It comes and goes. It's super fickle. So we don't want to wait for motivation. We want to create the momentum. And when you're in a group, that momentum is easier to create. Because while I might not be having a great week, Susie might be crushing it. And Dan might be having an awesome breakthrough that he shares. And now them sharing what they're doing and what's working for them is going to naturally curate momentum for me. So what I have seen to be true is actually my client results have skyrocketed as I've moved clients from one-to-one to one-on-many. Absolutely skyrocketed for so many reasons. The other thing is people often think that in a group setting, people aren't going to feel seen and heard or understood or like they're valued. They don't want to become a number. Now, I am all for that. I would hate for any client to feel like they're just a number. I don't want to feel like I'm just a number. So there are things that you can do in your group program or your course or whatever that might be to ensure that your clients don't feel like a number. Now, for us, what we do is we slice and dice our groups. So when we launch a group, we have dozens and dozens and dozens of people that come in. Let's say 60 people join on, 100 people join on. We have a capacity where we take groups of 25 and we make tiny classes. So we'll take the 60, 50, 100 people that have joined and we'll break them up into teams or into cohorts so that they're mini groups of 25, 30 max to make sure, just like a classroom in school, our clients are feeling seen and heard. When they're on a coaching call, there's not 100 people on the call. There might be 25 people on the call. And they'll cycle through and they'll get to go to the different coaches and they'll get to get their questions answered. Another thing that you can do is send assessments and surveys and checkpoints, and this stuff can all be automated. So another example for us, not only do our clients get a text message every single Monday when they're in our program where we're reminding them of where they're at, I'm giving them love notes, voice memos, boosters, motivation, homework, etc. I'm checking in on them, but they're getting automated emails every single week. Hey, don't forget, you should be on this module. It should take this amount of time. These videos are each 12 minutes, 8 minutes, and 6 minutes. They coincide with textbook pages 19, 20, and 21, right? In our Facebook group where we house our community, we have a thread that we put up every single day, which one of our coaches is responsible for. So we have a whole team of coaches, which you can do too. And then we have a coach each day that's responsible for, I'm the coach if you need anything today. And if I can't answer it, I'm not going to let my ego get in the way. I'm going to tell you I either don't know, I'm going to find out for you, or I will tag the appropriate coach who can help you. We've got progress trackers and checklists and checkpoints throughout. And so just by integrating these different little nuanced strategies, it ensures that our clients feel seen and heard. We encourage our clients to raise hands on coaching calls. We actually write down every single question that's been asked on every single coaching call with a timestamp. So we're also recognizing that if the same question's getting asked every single time when we get to module 4, well, that's a pretty good indicator that we need to do a better job in the course portal where maybe I add a new video or I change the way that I'm teaching it, or we give them an extra week to get through that homework, or we add some sort of, a support for them. We also have, there's so many things that we do to make sure that our clients feel seen and heard. We take tons of feedback and surveys and we keep it neutral. All feedback is neutral. It doesn't mean we suck. It doesn't mean I'm a bad person or I'm not worthy or my program's not good. It's just, wow, I haven't thought of that before. That's really interesting. Let me take that back to the team. Let me weigh the options and see, does it make sense for us to create something like this or include something like this? The other thing that you can do if you have a ton of resistance, because you're like, yeah, Jess, that's great, but I read stool samples and I read blood work and it's super personalized. then what you could do is you could offer some one-on-one calls throughout the group program. You can have that as a tiered approach where people can buy, and it's like an upsell for a VIP with like a hybrid one-on-one situation. You could also still do blood readings and stool sample readings, but maybe it's not on a one-on-one call because we want to make sure that we're maximizing and leveraging your time. So maybe what you do is once a week or once a month, you take all of your clients, what are they called? All of your clients like framework, samples, results, my goodness. You take your clients' results that come back and you sit down on your time, and you can use Loom or Zoom, and you can do a screen recording of yourself going through the results, and you're talking them through what this means and what this doesn't mean and what you want them to do or not do or eat, etc. And then you just give it to them. You can just email it to them. So it stays personal. So it's not intrusive, and doesn't have to be vulnerable. It doesn't have to mean that it has to get shared publicly, but it also doesn't mean that you have to have another call in your calendar. Now you can do it on your own time, where once a week, once every other week, once a month, you have time blocked off where you're going to do an hour of client results, and you're going to look through their sheets that come back, and you're going to send them Loom recordings or voice memos, telegrams, WhatsApp. There's so many things that you can do. You can also offer like an SOS call, like I need help, phone a friend. So maybe throughout your 3-month program, you offer one SOS call per person, and they can use it whenever they want, barring they give you, 24 to 48 hours to get back to them to get that call booked. You can also have a team of other support coaches or dietitians or trainers or fill in the blank that work with you, who for the one-on-one stuff, maybe you push off to the other coaches, or maybe you're the person who takes the one-on-one stuff, but another coach helps run the group stuff. So there are so many ways that you can navigate around that. And we've had dozens of clients come through our program who are creating group programs around topics like fertility, which could be very triggering. Eating disorders could be very triggering. That's not necessarily stuff that people want to share publicly. So you're creating the container. Expectations equal experience. Let me say that again. Expectations equal experience. So whatever you promise them, tell them, show them, or share with them that they're going to get or what they can expect, that will create the experience they have. And that's going to determine whether or not it feels like you've over-delivered or under-delivered. So I would always say when it comes to messaging, you almost want to under-deliver in the messaging and then over-deliver in the program, rather than over-deliver and promise them the world, and then they get in it and they're like, wait, this isn't exactly what I thought. That's going to leave you with a pretty unhappy customer. So sort of under-deliver, and then as a bonus, we can add on. And I'm not even going to charge you for it, right? If you get stuck, then you come in, you know what? I'm going to offer another call. Something else cool that we do is once a month, we do a workshop day. So we've got all of our regular coaching calls where the clients come in and they do the hot seat coaching. They raise their hand, they unmute themselves, etc. They work directly with a coach to feel seen, heard, get to speak to them, have our hands in your business. But then once a month, we do a workshop day where it's 2 to 3 hours and all hands are on deck. So every coach in my company comes on, and we utilize breakout rooms so that we can be in even smaller groups of 3, 4, 5 with a facilitator. And so now there's a particular problem or process that we're working through live in the breakout room with a facilitator, with a coach in the room, and we're in super small groups, right? So this is another opportunity for people to feel seen and heard. The other thing I want you to consider is when you have a group model, a one-to-many model, obviously you're working with more clients, you can make more impact, get more results, get more testimonials, get more feedback, and of course, make more money. I believe that group is the best place to start in your ascension model. So your ascension model is your product suite. And a lot of times people will start at the very bottom. Of course, all the stuff that's free, like a podcast, a YouTube, an opt-in, a free thing to get on your email list, right? Your content on social media. Above that, we have low ticket. So it's like a quick little ebook download, or maybe you have a low ticket membership that's monthly. Above that, usually we have self-study courses. So people could do DIY, it's a couple hundred, or like a low $1,000 to $2,000 course that they can go through that you're not necessarily involved in. It doesn't have a live component. Above that, we've got the group coaching, which is going to have that live component. There's going to be tons of hands-on support. It's done with you. It's not done for you. It's not do it yourself. It's done with you. Above that, there's usually like a peer-to-peer mastermind type of room, or then one-on-one coaching / agency model, which is done for you. If you start with one-on-ones, that's awesome. But I'm giving you permission today to say you don't have to start with one-on-ones. I love my clients to start with group. If a client comes in and they've never had a one-on-one, I still say start with group, keep it small. You can throw a beta test out where it's either free, it's bartered, it's super low ticket, and you're just getting feedback. The more feedback is better. Again, they're going to keep each other supported and hold each other accountable. You're going to have so many more people to talk to. It's like when you do a sample size, when they're testing something. You want to have a bigger sample size. Testing a new food or like a skincare product with 3 people is okay, but testing a new skincare product with 100 people is even better. So it's best to have, I believe, more people, and it doesn't have to hinder the experience or the result. It's freaking the best. It's like literally the best. So I can go on and on all day about this. I also believe that once you get people in this group situation, they're going to let you know what they need before they come into the group, what they want after they come into the group. And you always have an opportunity to either move people along and upsell them or downsell them or create other courses and programs. But at the end of the day, when people ask me how I scaled to multiple 7 figures or even how I scaled to my first million, the one thing that I did different was I changed from a one-to-one to a one-to-many model. And I still had one-to-ones, but I started trading that same hour of time to then work with 20, 30, 40, 50 clients in that amount of time instead of just one client. So if you're looking to scale your business, or maybe you're even looking to start your business and you're wondering where to start, I'm a huge advocate for groups. If you couldn't tell, I love them for so many reasons. I'm excited to talk more about them. I can talk about them until I'm blue in the face. There are so many things about groups that I think are really, really powerful. And that's it. That's the thing. So if you're looking for the one thing that was able to make it pop for me, that was it. And of course, over time, systems and structure and strategy and more content and being omnipresent and building a team. And that's really how we've now continued to scale. But to go from just 5 or 6 figures to 7 figures, I switched to one thing and it was going from one-to-one to one-to-many. So if you're listening and you're loving this and you've had a little mindset shift, let me know. Take a screenshot, share it on social media. Tell me what your mindset shift was. Or just shoot me a DM because I want to talk to you. I love talking to you and I love hearing that you love these episodes. It lets me know exactly what you're looking for and what you want to hear more of. I would also really appreciate it if you rated and gave us a 5-star review so we can get this into the hands of more people. I am loving, loving, loving this podcast. And it's crazy as I'm recording this, we just passed the 1-year mark and we are approaching our 100th episode. I can't thank you enough. We're going to be doing something really fun and special for that. So as always, my friends, cheers to your evolution. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you loved this episode, I invite you to be a part of our ripple effect and share it with a friend. And please, if you feel called, take 30 seconds to leave a 5-star review and I'll be forever grateful. Until next time, cheers to your evolution.